So I planned to wake up at 5 a.m. to see the sail away from Amsterdam, but unfortunately I was absolutely shattered and that did not happen. However, when I woke up in the morning, I opened up my curtains and was greeted with this view. Oh gosh, I felt like I was on an ocean cruise. It was beautiful. But we were actually crossing the Eidelzelmer Lake. I'm sorry, I'm sure I've pronounced that wrong. I've tried. Um, it was beautiful. So we were en route to Hoorn, a lovely little town in the Netherlands, close to Amsterdam. I think in public transport it's about 30 minutes away. And it was beautiful. So let me show you my day in Hoorn. Morning. I just had a shower. It's a lovely shower on board. It's a lot stronger than I thought river cruise ship showers would be. We're on what looks like an ocean rather than a sea. We're going to Hoorn today, in Holland, Netherlands, and we have a walking tour. But first I'm going to go for some breakfast and meet the rest of the gang. I didn't really do much after dinner last night. I had an early night, slept today for a bit, and then went for sleep. I was going to get up at 5 a.m. to see us leaving Amsterdam, but I was tired and slept. Let me show you the outside my little Juliet balcony window. It's a lovely view. We've got something here. It's the back of the ship down that way. And then that's the front. And I assume that's Hoorn over there where we're going. No, I'm going to go for some breakfast. We had a little table just for us with a little label on it. And then it was lovely views out the window there as we were arriving in Hoorn. Then some legs appeared, the crew docking. So yeah, it's a great little restaurant really. You can see what's going on because it's a sort of long, thin, narrow ship. You can see what's going on both sides, and it's very light and bright, which is lovely. This is the restaurant at breakfast.
Das Markermeer entstand 1976 durch den Bau eines ca. 30 Kilometer langen Deiches von Enkhuizen nach Lelystad.
I don't think I ever saw anyone use the lift on board, but there is a lift on board, and it goes to all the cabin floors, and then there was a stair lift, I think, that would take people to the Sundeck if they needed assistance with the stairs for that level. So the bikes were all out, the branded bikes, the Scalia and VIVA Cruises, and you could book and hire a bike for free at reception to use at any of the places we docked at. Whilst awaiting our walking tour to commence, I was admiring the suite balconies on VIVA ONE. So the suite balconies are a separate balcony from the room, and then the standard kind of balcony is the Juliet balcony. But these balconies look beautiful. I definitely think I would treat myself to one on a future VIVA Cruises cruise. We then had a walking tour, and our guide was a lovely lady called Else. Now, she was called Elizabeth, but her mum shortened her name to Liz. So our guide, her name was Else. She was lovely. She knew so much about the area. She hadn't been born and bred there, but she hadn't been born far away. And yeah, it was a really good tour. She knew her stuff. She took us around Hoorn. We used those receivers and microphone, and as we were all wandering off in different directions taking photos, it was great because then you could still hear the commentary. Yeah, a really good tour.
No. Okay. Well, by profession, I'm a geographer, and I can never do without maps. And if you don't
Hoorn was another hot day, so this square she took us to explain the area to us initially was lovely and cool. And this building in front used to be a prison. They've adapted it, and that's a museum now. And there were other areas they'd adapted that were now residential areas. It's fascinating. And the tour, so if you booked it with Viva Cruises, it would cost you €24. And I think for the information and sort of area covered, it takes about 90 minutes, but we did walk. I mean, we didn't walk that far, but, you know, we saw lots of sights. It's definitely worth €24. I'd definitely treat yourself to it. And definitely make sure you've got all your cameras charged for your visit to Hoorn, or any of your visits, to be fair, because there's so many beautiful photo opportunities of your ship and of the town itself. It's gorgeous. Architecture in Hoorn was beautiful. So many places to take photos, so again, do make sure you have a camera. Lots of restaurants and bars to sit in if you so desire as well.
So, 1532, and then adjacent you see 1651. Situation was not ideal to get out, so hence you had your ship on this part of the pier. You push here, you can see part of it.
This beautiful tower is now a restaurant, so there are fabulous views over the harbour in the evening. So yeah, treat yourself. Hoorn was just so beautiful. And I think obviously the beautiful blue skies and sunny day made it even more beautiful. We really enjoyed the walking tour, pottering around.
And then for the economy, the hinterland was more important. They're very expensive.
Are they?
Oh, they cost yeah.
Canals off the sort of main waterway were beautiful, and there was actually a water taxi that went round, an electric water taxi that you could book or hail and go for a trip down all these little canals on. There were also bars and restaurants with like a bit of a barge over the water. It's a lovely place to sit and enjoy a drink with a gorgeous view. And with the bonuses of having Else as a local taking us around, there were certain places she could go inside and show us as well. Like she showed us a traditional kind of Protestant church inside and took us into like a courtyard of a residential area. So yeah, she had that insider knowledge. So having a local guide is always better than following your own nose around, because you get to see bits that you would never see otherwise because you might not notice as a tourist. So this, what looks like a church, was actually a brand new hotel. It had recently been renovated and was now a luxury hotel in Hoorn. So the walking tour finished in the centre of Hoorn, and then we were free to have our own time to wander around, and finding our way back to the ship wasn't difficult. There were lovely little sort of side streets like this with lots of bikes, standard for the Netherlands, and the flag here as well. And the buildings are just so beautiful, and it was so peaceful. So here was some information about the water taxi in Hoorn, and they also did guided sightseeing. So you can see there 60 minutes for €15 per person, €15 per person, sorry. And it would take you around sort of the main attractions of Hoorn. Something I would definitely do, I think, if I went back to visit. I then headed back to the ship to join my fellow press trippers for some lunch. You can book with reception and hire these bikes to go around when you get off at different places. So we're at Hoorn in the Netherlands today. And we're at the city, well, the town centre is literally just behind that tower, about 5 minutes. So, as always, the menu was up in the atrium sort of area, and the menu was delicious. Most of us had fish and chips. It surprised me a bit that lunchtimes are always really busy on board, but I think that was probably because the temperature was really high and the outside, and the ship was nice and cool, so people were making the most of the cool and the air conditioning and returning to the ship for lunch. And the lunches were always delicious. There was like a starter kind of salad bar you could help yourself from, and then you ordered the rest of your meal to the table. So the lunchtime dessert today was waffles and ice cream up in the lounge. So we headed up and sat down and ate our waffles and ice cream, and they were delicious. It's a really nice, refreshing dessert on a hot day. I'm in the pool. It's actually boiling. It's more like a bath. Let me see if you can see me. It's definitely more like a bath than a pool. It's nice though. And relaxing. Actually, when you come out, it's cooler. But yeah, so this is the pool on VIVA ONE. In the same way that when I went on the big ship earlier in the year, last year rather, I didn't think they'd have a pool. I didn't expect a river. I mean, I guess I expected a river cruise ship to have like a spa or something, which I suppose this is. But I'm assuming that usually it's quite cold. It's just the unprecedented weather we're having at the moment. But there's some sun lounges there around the pool, looking out from the pool as well. I'm sure you could change them if you wanted to. And then there's deck chairs there. And then there's like lazy boy or fat boy hammocks. I'm totally going to get into one of them after. Anyway, I realise I haven't brought my waterproof handle, so I'm going to pop this back on my sun lounger and relax in the water. So these are the hammocks. I mean, they look really very comfortable. I'm pretty sure I'd get into it fine, it's just for getting out of it. Especially there's an audience of people over there. But let me show you. So there's the pool again. And this is like a putting green. It's grass. And then, so these are solar panels, which are working hard today. And this is Hoorn that we're in today. There's like a harbour in front, and you can see there's a woman in a bikini. I don't know if you can see, but they're jumping in and out of the water over there. It's such a lovely little town, and it's a town I wouldn't even think of, well, until I had the itinerary for this cruise, I didn't even know it existed. So yeah, looks like people are having a party over there. Why not in this weather? So this is a big lake that Amsterdam is at one end of, I think. And this is the province of North Holland. And more solar panels here. I honestly thought the Sundeck would be busier. There weren't many people here. Probably is my time to try the hammocks. Yeah, I might go back in the pool. It's so hot, but it's hotter in London, so I can't complain. And I don't have to work on holiday, so... Well, I am working. That's the difficulty, like, it's my first ever press trip. And it is work because I'm taking photos, I'm making the ship look beautiful. But it's not, because I really enjoy it. So just going back to COVID points just for a minute, you needed to be vaccinated to go on VIVA Cruises, and you showed your proof of vaccination at check-in. You did not need to be tested. You just had to test as per countries you visited, and luckily none of the countries we visited requested tests. And There were alcohol gel dispensers dotted all round. Cleaning was, you could see crew members regularly cleaning. I felt very safe on board, and I'm home a few days now and don't have COVID, so that's all good. In the evening, we briefly headed ashore, and Anton, the cruise director, came with us for some photographs of our press trip, to remind us of our little group. It was a fabulous little group. Everyone was so lovely. It was really nice, and we had such a great fun, good time. Lots of joking, lots of seriousness, lots of exploring Viva One, and we just had a really, really good time together. And before dinner, we had a nice little tour of the spa area, and a couple of the cabins on board Viva One, which was nice.
Not normal one, but the mini suite, where you have the beds like this, and 3 and 5, so the second and the third on both sides of the third floor. They are with their own balcony.
As well as that gorgeous gym with top of the range gear, there's a massage area on board and a masseuse that is on board and can massage you. And it's a lovely room, very relaxing. I did not think that there would even be treatment rooms on board. I was so naive to river cruising. And there was a spa on board too that you could use and reserve time at reception, with a steam room and a sauna and a shower. The gym was open 24/7. You didn't need to reserve. We only saw members of our group using it, to be fair, in the time we were on board, but it may be cold, but it was air conditioned and nice. It was also, the equipment was like set lower down in the floor, which I think was to try and keep it quiet for the cabins underneath. We were then able to have a look in one of the lower deck cabins with the window kind of just above the water line. These cabins were lovely, really nice. So they're cheaper, obviously, than the Juliet balcony cabins, but more or less the same, just the window's different. So you have a small little window. And actually, I'm about 5'7", and that was at eye height for me, so I could see out. But otherwise, the cabin was the same. I do a full cabin tour of my Juliet balcony, sort of double balcony room, which I will leave the link of, but that will publish in a few weeks. So we were then eating our dinner tonight in Hoorn in Viva's Bistro. So Viva's Bistro is a speciality dining restaurant on board. You do not need to pay extra to eat there. It's included in your original cruise fare. You do, however, need to reserve space there, and you have one reservation per cruise. So we were eating our dinner there, and I'll show you our dinner. It was delicious and service was amazing. The bistro is only small, with seating, I think, for about 20 people. So the service is highly personalised, and it was fantastic, and the food was delicious. And let me show you. We're leaving Hoorn. So hot. So there's a little terrace area out the back of Viva's Bistro, and we took some photos out there. I'd highly recommend you booking in the evening when you're leaving a port, because we had beautiful views of Hoorn as we left. Seem to be reversing out through this gap. And we're having dinner in the bistro as a group. It's so hot, but not as hot as London, so I can't complain. We've been in the pool most of the afternoon, having cocktails in the pool. It's very nice. I've just had a tour of some of the other cabins and the spa, and now we're having dinner in the extra dining venue, the Bistro, which is included in the price of the cruise. Not the ocean, but it's a huge lake. So we are sailing back to Amsterdam and then down to Rotterdam.
Beach time.
Earlier on in the evening, we had seen the captain and had asked him if we could come and see his bridge, or wheelhouse, as they were calling it, after dinner. And he invited us up. So we went for a brief tour of the little wheelhouse.
Actually, the most important for us. This is our ship. This spot is that other ship. So you see the other ships. Here you have the electronic car, 14.4 kilometers an hour.
So here's a captain's view of a river cruise ship. It was great visiting the bridge. I was so grateful for our trip and visit up there.
Just here.
On the VIVA One, okay.
Yeah. Last year I was on Viva Tiara.
On Viva Tiara, yeah.
On the ship. And then they make this new building, and you ask me, do you want to go to there? So of course. It's a nice challenge.
Yeah.
We're about to go through a lock, but 2 boats have got in there before us, 2 ships. So we're waiting for them to go through, and then we'll go through. We visited the captain earlier on the bridge, and my questions were, when are we going through locks? I like going through locks. You can see sunset has just happened, and there were 2 ships in there in the lock already. They've just gone in. So we'll wait for the water to change and them to go out, and then I don't know, something will come into the lock to come this way, and then like central Amsterdam is over there. You see the towers, so we were docked by those towers yesterday. I think I don't know if we'll actually put a line out, or we're just going alongside to wait. Technically we might have to wait a little bit. Our mast has just come down and it's kind of half up because we went under a low bridge. Oh, the birds going. So we're getting closer and closer to the dock. These were our cocktail theme of the cruise, the tequila sunrise. I can tell you, the tequila sunrises were delicious. Then, as it was such a lovely warm evening, we sat, observed sunset, and then watched the scenic sailing as we set sail towards Rotterdam.